This is the Amp Hour Podcast. Released May 30th, 2017. Episode 345. Milling About.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
What's up, nerd?
Hey, man. Not much here. Back from Maker Faire.
Yes, I heard that your 4:30 p.m. slot, actually people turned up.
Oh, yeah, you saw pictures, huh?
Yeah, I saw pictures. Yep.
Yep. People were very nice. They showed up. I had finished my talk a total of 2 hours beforehand, and it was great. I didn't record it, though.
Is there video?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I think I'll try and give this talk again at some point in the future, though. This was...
Right.
It was a talk about prototyping, so...
Right.
How I'm bad at.
Were you sharing your experience? What was it?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically just like... So I came up with this talk title about, like, how to build hardware quickly. And as I was like writing the talk, I'm like, I don't know where I came up with this talk title from. I'm not good at building hardware quickly.
Right, okay.
You know? And so it kind of turned into like, well, so how do you build hardware quickly? And, just the usual, prototyping things, buy stuff first. I don't know about you, but I still, like, even now, right? Even after I say all these things in public and I've said it on here before, even still, my first instinct is just, I'll just build a board.
Yeah.
That is the wrong call almost all the time,
When you can just lash something together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was calling it cobbling. That's kind of the I like that term.
Cobbling together.
Cobbling,
Yep.
We're like shoemakers. We're cobblers, Dave. Well, we should be cobblers, rather.
Got out with our shoe anvil and our...
Yeah, right.
or whatever it's called. I'm sure it has a name. Sorry for all you...
all the cobbler listeners,
cobbler aficionados,
yeah. Right. So what have you been up to?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. What have I been up to? I don't know.
Well, you've been making videos with David,
one
too.
day to the other. I've been trying to make videos and just been busy with all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. We're still trying to get our, everything up to speed in terms of, being able to produce videos, consistently and, stuff like that.
I didn't realize that. So I saw your video about the cleaning up of the microscope thingy. That was cool.
Yep.
When did you get that? Did you have that for a while?
I had that for ages. I actually, the I don't know if anyone noticed, but the unboxing footage, it starts out, first video starts out with me unboxing the thing. That was actually like a year and a half ago or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I actually had that footage just sitting there because I unboxed it and then I went, I've got to clean and service this thing.
Right, exactly. And it's a project, not a tool.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that next week and,
and so on and so forth, right?
And so on. And then I decided, no, we were actually cleaning up the lab and I went, damn it, we're going to do the microscope thing.
So do you find, is it like you're not forced to, but are you finding actual uses for it?
Yeah, it's really good. Because I've got some video on the second channel of dyes and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I did see that. I saw that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's just really cool for things like that, and it works. And now that I can shoot video through it, it's and it's pretty much set up on my bench. So I've pretty much got a visual inspection recording bench, which has my Tagano microscope, and this one that's not quite optimized. I've got to change a few cables, but once it's all, I actually have dedicated hardware in there. I'm sharing my camera. Should be easy.
I was feeling what you were saying at one point, where you zoomed way in, and people should definitely check this out. You zoomed way in, you're like, I don't really know what I'm looking at here.
Right.
And that's the thing, because it's yes, I understand that there's transistors there, and it was the RF one that you were looking at. And but unless you're gonna go and trace it out and redraw it, you know what I mean?
No.
And that's what what's his name, Ken Shuriff does, and then the Zepta bars.
They actually reverse engineer the the actual layouts on there, and I
Right.
just don't have the expertise. So, well, I could learn. I've actually got a test wafer. I haven't done a video on yet. I've actually got what's called a test wafer, which has all the different elements on there,
Yeah,
and
like
they're all
tags.
labeled. It's got all these transistors. It's got the resistors. It's got the capacitors, and like everything on there is and they're all labeled in all different sizes and everything.
nice.
It's really fascinating. Yeah.
Oh, so it's almost like a
Yeah.
process wafer, like a.
It's
they
like a
test out the
process
different-
test wafer, yeah. They actually test out, this is a regular MOSFET, this is one with 2 gates on it, this is like 2 drains or whatever, like multiple ones and in different geometry sizes and like.
I just think
wow.
about it like if I get to the point where I need to be looking at a chip, I'm already way past where.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm already
exactly.
way past the point I'm gonna have given up. I get
No,
the
it's-
inspection piece though, like overall inspection.
No, the good thing, like I think I've always wanted something like this just for teardowns and stuff like that. Like if there's an interesting chip in there, I could like decap it or something, or I don't know, something like that, right?
Yeah,
I
get-
can
yeah,
inspect stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just nice to be able to have a microscope that I can actually shoot video with.
Yeah,
and
no,
that
I
was
get
the
that.
intention. And those little, $50 USB jobs are just,
I think mine does great for what it is. I mean, like
they
it's
do the job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get like solder joints but even that,
no.
like I think the real thing is the real reason to get like a nice an optical microscope is just because of the distance you can get up off the board, right? So being able to get a soldering iron underneath it, if you're doing like small soldering stuff.
That's different between a soldering microscope is entirely different.
Yeah, right.
To an inspection microscope. Because like inspection, you can get really close. Whereas soldering, you said, you need that working distance,
Right.
So,
Yep.
but I've got my Tagano microscope with the 40 times zoom, and I can, it's got like a 30 centimeter working distance.
Oh, it does.
Right?
Okay. Oh, so that's what that's
which
meant
is
for. Okay.
about 12 inches, right?
Yeah.
Working distance.
Yep,
And and then I can zoom in to like see like inside vias and stuff like that. Like, it's really remarkable range. But you can't beat a good microscope for getting, down in the micron level. Like seeing bond, like I'm always tearing down stuff and you want to inspect like, some sort of sensor, a CCD sensor, and you want to see the elements in these sensors, right?
You're not going to see the actual gate level, but you'll see like the array at least, right?
Yeah, well, no. With this microscope, I can go down and see the individual pixel level, and I'll be able to see like the Bayer filter on top, which is the RGB color.
Oh, yeah, right,
Bayer
right.
filter, like stuff like you'll be able to
That's
see
right. Didn't
all
we-
that sort of stuff.
We talked to David about that, Grunstein, right?
Yes, David Kronstein, whose thing is still going, and yes,
Cool.
his camera Kickstarter thing. I'm getting the updates because I backed it, so I get the updates.
Oh, cool.
And he's
Yeah.
like, I think he's very close to shipping. Very.
Nice.
Yeah, if not already or something. He might have shipped early backers, I'm not sure, but yep. Cool.
Well, that's stressful.
Anyway, so the next stage we want to do with that, no pun intended,
Stage.
is to fix the stage. That's what the bed on a microscope is called.
Yeah,
It's called
right,
the stage.
right.
So anyway, because it's very slack and we want to actually automate this. So we want to build a jig. So we want to attach motors to it, right? With, of course, some sort of reduction gearbox,
Yeah,
like a
right.
stepper motor.
Right. So it's
system,
not like
so that we can,
one step is like 4 centimeters or something like that.
no, one step will be like 40 microns or 400
Right,
microns
yeah,
or something, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and however the field of view of the camera is. So what we want to do is actually be able to photograph dyes and actually automatically stitch all the photos together.
That's a cool
right?
idea. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that hard. Once you've got all the mechanical fiddlies done, then actually programming it to do it's not hard at all. Move like you know what the field size of your like your frame size of your camera is.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just shift it not right to the edge because you got to have overlap when you stitch videos together, stitch photos together. So, but step it like 2/3 of the way or whatever, and then take another photo 2/3 of the way. Boom,
I
and you can
never
activate the shutter.
ever believe anyone when they say something's not hard.
Oh, right.
Like
I know. Same here.
every time I hear, I'm just like, nope, I don't
David
believe
over
that
here,
for a second.
who's right here, bugs me. He's smirking right now because he always says it's easy. It's easy. He's youthful enthusiasm.
That's right. Right.
And me with all my crusty experience and jaded view goes, nah, it's never that easy. And he always goes, it's 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And,
then 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you're with me.
What do you mean
You're with me.
Whatever. You were saying it's okay. We'll just let that. I'll let that one slide. But yes, in general, I am crusty and old and a pessimist. Yeah, it's just
Yeah. Anyway, it's no like. In theory, once you've got the and in practice too, my spidey sense tells me once we've nailed the move in the stage, technically it's done, right? You simply have to then control the motors and go and step them, and then activate the camera shutter. It's
I would think in a project like that, the hardware, if you get the coupling all right, and if you get the coupling set up between the stepper and the gear reduction, whatever.
Yep.
Okay, maybe that's 20% of the project. I would actually think the software piece.
To me, that's 90% of it.
Okay. Well, we'll check back in, I guess, right?
Right.
Today is what?
Come on, it's not hard to drive.
It's May 24th today, so...
It's not hard to drive
August?
stepper motors. Come on, don't be that pessimistic. Jeez, even I'm not that pessimistic. That it's hard to drive stepper motors X amount in a grid and in an array grid. That's like, geez. Even I can knock up the code for that in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, David's over there nodding.
Yeah. So how's it going having an office mate again? I mean, I guess that's something different, right?
Yeah,
I mean...
It is something different.
You guys still getting along?
Yeah, we're still getting along.
It's good.
Haven't killed him yet.
All right.
No, he's working on
I assume he'd win. Come on, man.
Right. He's working on cross-platform development at the moment, doing the app for the EV Blog multimeter.
Oh, that's right. I saw you talking about that, and you said
and
not
apparently
Mac.
That's really hard. And he's going to do some videos on it, which will probably go on the second channel, we think.
Yeah.
Because we actually asked our audience whether or not where they want to see videos like that.
Yep.
And they said the second channel, I think, pretty much.
Cool.
Because it's software, because this is the EEV blog, right? And if it's like app development stuff, well, it probably doesn't belong on the main channel.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. It's the things we all need to know, but we are gladly allowing someone else to do it, right?
Right. Yeah, because apparently it's hard. I don't know. We'll have to have David on to discuss it or watch his videos when he comes out with them. But yeah, it's like doing true, like one lot of code, just one lot of code that automatically compiles for every different platform.
Yeah.
Android, Windows, Linux or whatever, and, whatnot, and iPhone or whatever. Apparently that is not easy.
Yep.
To actually get it to the point where, you can just, like you actually using Microsoft Visual Studio, you just hit compile and it generates boom, 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 boom,
Right.
Like all these different
Yeah, I'm
apps.
gonna be way out of my element if I start talking about this stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's much easier to sort of cheat and go, well, 80% of the code's compatible, and then you've got to tweak the interfaces for each one. It's all about the interface, really. It's more about the GUI, the user interface, and how buttons are handled and all.
Well, the only thing I know is that KiCad has a lot of issues with that because it is cross-platform, but it uses it's called WX widgets, which is like an old.
WX widgets.
Yeah, it's like an old rendering engine. There's like Qt and WX. I don't know. Again, I'm way out of my element. I only know what I read on the developer list. So
got it.
Yeah,
got it. So do they can they just press the compile button? It automatically generates the 3 different versions.
No, that thing breaks all the time.
No, I thought it wasn't. Yeah. No, because the Windows one's always been the oddball one. It's like, well, you want a Windows version? Oh, yeah, okay. There's some guy who has. Is it still just some guy has it on his own website or something with the Windows version?
No, it used to be like that. It's gotten a lot better actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
but
so
it still kind of works like that. There's somebody who goes, right, I'm the guy who generates the Windows
right, so
version,
we've had Adam. So you weren't on that show, but Adam Wolf's been on the show before, and he helps with the Mac version compilation.
Okay, right.
And like, so I'll see emails zip past like, oh, it's broken right now because of this new integration type of thing.
Right. So it's definitely not true cross-platform. Somebody has to tweak it for that platform.
I don't know what you'd call it, but there are issues, but it's just like integration issues, right? And that's why being at a level of like stable builds is good.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally.
Yep. So yeah.
Interesting. Yes, cross-platform development. So therefore, so we decided to do it properly. Like, we could have just cheated, right? He could have finished the app by now, right? If we just cheated, but we thought, oh no, there's probably value in actually having going through the motions and trying to figure out how to do true cross-platform app development.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was talking to someone yesterday about
Yep.
everything just being like a web page, but I think there's issues with that too.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
God help us.
Well,
Everything JavaScript.
Wow, maybe that's another. Is that another way to do it? I wonder if, because we use the Bluetooth module inside the EV Blog Meter is the Giga.
Oh, the Blue Giga, yeah.
The Blue Giga
Right.
112.
Man, this is just like a episode.
The
We're
112.
talking
Yeah.
about tons of throwbacks. We got Jeff Roberg, who is from Blue Giga.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
lots of links to
Right.
past guests on this in these show
We
notes.
do.
So, yeah.
Anyway, so it's kind of like one of the de facto industry. It was one of the first popular ones, wasn't it? It was one of the first that really
Yeah, that one was doing well.
made it
What
easy to
chipset does it use?
You know, it uses the 112,
The one.
which is the original one.
It's got
like
their own. They've got their
the-
own silicon.
Well,
I thought
Blue
they don't
Giga,
use
yeah.
the NRF.
oh, I don't know which one they use, but the module is the Blue Giga 112. I don't know.
So it's using a Scilab something.
Oh, okay, right.
Uh,
I should probably Google it. Google it.
yeah. So one of the Scilab's chipsets, it looks like.
Right. Okay. And anyway, it just dawned on me. Instead of like at the moment, it just sort of like acts as a serial port, and it's just like spewing out data.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But could that actually run like a little web server app so that you can simply connect to the web page, which is the multimeter? I wonder.
The module probably could not. No.
Well, the module's got its own processor in it. It can run it. It's got an 8051 processor with 8K of RAM and 128K of.
So you're gonna run a web server on an
firmware.
8051?
I don't know.
Again, Dave, I think we're pretty far out of our element, but I'm pretty sure that's
I
not
know.
possible.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's
whether or
possible.
not-
I think if you had like a coprocessor on there, or like something.
Come on, you can run a web. You can run a web thing in 128K of flash and 8K of RAM.
Not if it's running JavaScript.
Well, no, but I'm sure I've seen web servers in much smaller platforms than that. No?
I feel like we should be like playing like Girl from Ipanema, like we're like having an awkward elevator conversation where we don't know anything here, like. Yes, you can find 8051 web servers on Google, but no, I guarantee it would not do what we're talking about. It would not serve up like a modern web page. So
Oh, I'm talking about a text web, just a basic web page. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
yeah, I think you guys are doing it right. Don't worry, I think you guys are doing it
Okay.
right, especially with Bluetooth, right? If it had
Right.
like, some other kind of network connectivity on there, maybe you could have it push up to the cloud and yada yada yada. But then it would take forever.
Right.
So.
Okay. Got it.
I have to say, this kind of this obviously you and I are out of our element here, and people are probably cringing right now, and that's fine. But I did have this interesting sensation at Maker Faire. That Gibson quote, William Gibson, where he says the future's already here, but it's just not evenly distributed. You know
No.
that quote? It's a great quote. I use it all the time.
Okay.
I love
That's
that
fine.
quote, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's true, right? I mean, you have people that have been a really rough time economically, and then you have people that are, driving Teslas, right? It's just
No, of course, right.
yeah, it's just crazy, right?
Welcome to the real world.
Right, but I've been feeling that on the tech side. Now, obviously, there's some of the thing at play is just I've got sore tech muscles, right? I'm not using them enough, and that's on me, right? But then
Right.
certain things Microsoft was there, right? And they were showing off. I mean, they had the HoloLens out, and I'm lukewarm on the actual application of it, whatever. But that's not really the thing. The thing that I was wigged out by, that was a very popular booth thing. There was a camera that was looking at a crowd, and it looked at your face, and it obviously could find your face, no problem. And then it said your emotion, it said your gender, and then it said your age, and it got everyone's age on the nose, Dave. It was so
right.
creepy.
This is in advertisements.
Right,
Somebody tweeted.
We had a link on the Amp Hour too. We had a link on there.
Oh, did we? It's
yeah,
there,
about
is it?
the,
Yeah.
it was a Finnish.
The code. Yes, that's right. Somebody. This thing crashed. If you don't know, it was inside like a. Was it a pizza
It was
shop?
a pizza shop. Yeah.
pizza shop in Europe somewhere or something.
Oh, Oslo. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, and it was like it was a big TV screen, right, outside the shop, and normally it displays ads, right, and it turns out this thing crashed, and all this kind of not really source code, but all the like script information,
right, exactly,
or the command output from this, it had this camera in it, and it was identifying people, and all this information was up on the screen, like female or whatever age, you're happy this person,
attention time, that's the crazy one, right?
So it was the camera was watching people as it went past and put up relevant ads based on what it determined your demographic is.
Yeah. Right. And so like even I looked at this and I'm
great.
like, yeah, right, that's a load of crap, right? But like no,
it's
this
real.
is like it's like
it's a
really
real thing.
a thing, and it can be used for devious I mean, like it's not like this tech is probably even that new, it's just more accessible, right? It's always like this stuff has been available in military applications probably for years with depending on levels of processing power. However, it's all about access, right? It's like we all have access to this kind of stuff now, and it's that makes things different, man. It's just I don't know.
I know.
And not like I've ever felt like 100% control, but like seeing that, I was like, oh. Wow, I you know what I mean? Like, and then it's like then I have a day where I have a hard time soldering, and I'm like, what am I even doing here?
Right.
So, and then there was another one. Who else was there? The I think it was IBM. Yeah, IBM. You can actually.
Right. Wow.
I didn't get to see it, but you could run code on a quantum computer.
Sweet.
Like you could write code.
They actually had one there, or it was just
no. It's like
connected?
you upload it to the cloud, and then it would run it, but.
Right.
So it's like it's definitely novelty on that side of things, but
totally.
But like still, it's like, wait, that's a thing? Like that's really a thing? Like, I don't know.
You can get quantum computers. They're just not that very good. They're just not very good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it just, I guess that's good, right? I mean, like sometimes I'm like, oh well, Maker Faire, we'll see what happens, and but. People are bringing real demos, and like that's some legit stuff. And there was some great stuff this year, right? I mean, so I don't know.
You're the one telling the story.
Yeah, well, it's just I don't know how to process some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like some of that stuff feels obviously it's not electronics. Well, it is electronics, but it's not accessible.
Speaking of Maker Faire, I'll try and send you the link right now. Mm-hmm. I think she was 14 at the time. 14-year-old girl I met at Maker Faire last year. She was working on here it is. I'll forward it to you.
Okay.
Here we go. She was working on a science project or whatever, and it turns out that she actually won the Editor's Choice Award at one of the huge Maker Fairs or something. She went over there or something and demoed it or something, I'm not sure. And yeah, she won like the Editor's Choice Award for this a model of the Large Hadron Collider. So anyway, it's very cool.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's great. So good on her. So yeah, I met her at the Maker Faire last year.
Very cool.
Sydney Maker Faire, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You don't leave the country.
So, yeah, that was great. Yeah. And
I don't know, Dave. Terrific. I guess we're just getting old. I guess we could say that.
Speak for yourself. Times are a-changing, aren't they?
I guess so.
That used to be my old joke,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, there's other things too. There's other stuff on our list, right? There was this article about automation, right? And from grocery stores, right? So they showed the video in this grocery store, and it's another thing where it's like, yes, the technology's there, but it's like it's starting to get, it's just kind of like we're on the edge here. We're on the edge of something different. I don't know, good, bad. I don't know if it's good or bad. But it's but like if you watch this video, it's a completely automated warehouse.
Right.
And so, of course, my alarm bells.
There isn't a human in sight. Is that what you're
pretty
saying?
much? Yeah. And they show show the simulation of like all the bins moving through and everything, and it's not everywhere, right?
Simulation? simulation. I don't want to see
No,
bloody
I mean,
simulation.
the modeling of what's actually happening, right? Because they're actually
Oh,
doing like
right.
the
Okay.
tracking and the
right. Yep, of course.
And again, like nothing new in a technological sense, and yet it's always about like every time there's like a breakthrough, it's kind of just a confluence of technologies, right? Like the whole drone thing is like the confluence of low cost sensors and increasing power and lower costs on just all components and the motors available and the batteries and like all those things kind of coming together.
Right.
So
There was a.
but
So you're saying we have no jobs in the future?
well, yeah, I've been saying that for a while, but like
There was actually talk on this. There was a thread on the EV blog forum last night, and somebody raised the point of that. When there's like, when the robots come for our jobs, there'll be like 1,000 people applying for every job, and it's like there'll be mass discrimination because like people will just be given jobs to their family members. They'll be, nobody else will be able to get a job, and it's like, real sort of post-robot apocalypse kind of
right. Well,
scenario.
We've said for a while in here that like the best idea for the future is to make the robots, right?
Right, man, be the person who makes and controls them.
I stick with that. I am still on that track rather, and I don't think that I'm not sure if it matters much for EEs, but maybe. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't matter much for us. Come on, I mean, I'm calling it now. If I am out of a job, if I as an EE, if I was working as an EE, would be out of a job in 30 years, I'm calling bullshit, right?
Well,
like for the rest of my working life, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Right.
Right?
Well,
there's no way that I will be made redundant as an EE. It's just not going to happen.
Well, okay. The only thing that I would say against that, and this is something I mentioned in my talk too, is that like the only thing that I think will probably happen, and something that I think is actually kind of exciting, is that levels of integration will go up, right? So yes, you as an E, or maybe my old title like analog EE, like there's really, I mean, come on, you don't need that anymore. However, Chris,
what
the
do you
guy,
mean you don't need it? Just the Mr. Analog Life is saying that analog
that's exactly what I'm saying, Dave. I mean,
on the way of the dodo.
Yeah, exactly. Because analog EE is a bunk title, right? It's E. It's just E. It's just engineer, right? It's mechatronic engineer, whatever you want to call it. It's like you have to do mechanical, you have to do electrical, you have to do firmware, you have to do software. Like, David 2 is the prototype, right? It's like you just have to do everything. But it's also enabled by chipsets where you don't have to think about the analog front end anymore, right? Or embedded platforms that give you half the code to start with, and then it's just about changing some variables for a majority of the cases. So, yeah. I don't know. I learned how to 3D model. I think it's a really good thing to know. Have you learned it yet?
Great. No, I suck at it. Like, I still suck. There's just not a package I like. I'm sorry. I bitched about this to David the other day.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And there's just, the other month or whatever. There's no easy to use package that just works the way I expect a freaking 3D modeling package to work.
Well, I think I've talked about it in the past. I learned at least the beginnings of Fusion 360.
Yep.
And apparently that's similar to Inventor.
No.
But
I didn't like any of them.
I know, but like that's the thing. Like it felt very foreign at the beginning, right? And actually, I was talking to a buddy who's an EE. I mean, like, so he's on.
Hang on, David's just plugging SolidWorks in the background here. He's just
he's down with Dassault.
No. Yep, he is.
Oh, but that's because he's an Altium guy too, right? And so that's actually what I was talking to my buddy about. Is that he was at the point where he had to basically do some drawings. He had to pull in some 3D models that he just couldn't get. And that still happens a lot, right? You have a component, you got to model it yourself, whatever.
But why should I have to learn this, right? I'm an engineer, right? I know what I want to design, right? I'm familiar with CAD type packages, right? Why can't I just walk up to a bloody package and go, right, I want a cylinder, I want to drill a hole in it, I want to, do this and make it flange out here. Like, it's just...
It's because the same reason that Altium isn't super easy, or KiCad's not super. I mean, like it's just like they're pro tools. You know what I mean?
Know. Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, I know. But no, there is one which I really like, which was the eMachine Shop software, which is kind of like it's tied into their website. It's their own software they wrote. So it's their own software. So you get the parts generated by them. It quotes it. So you draw it, and then it automatically quotes it for you, and then you can press the button, and it gets manufactured. Right, all in the one app. All in the one program.
It's a lot of 90 degree angles, right?
Right. No, but that's the only one I've ever used that I just walked up to and was able to design the case for my 3D my watch, right? When I was working on my watch project. I did a pretty funky looking 3D case for my watch.
Yes,
right?
funky looking, indeed.
Right. No, I've got photos I can show you.
I've seen the pictures, man. I mean, like, it's just but like in terms of like manufacturability, like all the other things, right? And
it tells you it was smart enough to go, no, you can't have that. There's not enough edge metal there to to do it with.
What about
it would
Onshape? Have you tried Onshape yet?
I think I did.
Okay. I don't know. So like at a certain point, so I've obviously been on the train of everything's got a little learning curve. You got to just kind of get past it. And I think so. Like I've really only tried Fusion 360. I've tried SolidWorks at one point a long time ago, but like it's really just parametric modeling and just how they do all that stuff. It's just a new paradigm, you know. So
yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. But I think it is worthwhile. So if people are listening and are like, oh, well, I think it is worthwhile to learn one because, again, going back to Maker Faire, of all the tools that are there, right? The best 3D printers in the world, the best laser cutters in the world, the best metal CNC machines in the world, all those things, they don't mean anything if you can't model, right? Modeling is the new skill, really, right? I mean, everything else gets.
Of course,
you don't even need to have the tools anymore. You can just send out for these things. You can do these online 3D printing programs, machining programs, everything like that.
No disagreement from me.
Yeah,
no argument from me.
I think
Speaking
it's
of which,
a good one. Go ahead.
Segues perfectly into a name that we haven't had on the show.
We have not had that on for a while. Yeah,
Brie Pettis, who the famous sellout.
Couldn't have been nice to start with, Dave. That was
no. It was like no, but that's we all knew that was going to happen, right? He, the company MakerBot, of course, he's the founder of Maker, one co-founder of. Have we had the other co-founder on the show?
Yes. Zach on the show.
Zach, that's right.
Another.
Yep.
Zach Hogan-Smith.
And of course, everyone knew that was going to be the future of MakerBot, and it happened.
No,
of course.
not everyone
and then
knew.
Brie,
that's not what everyone knew.
Come on, everyone knew.
Anyways, we'll keep going.
When they had the corporate buyout, everyone knew, and Brie stayed for the 2 years. He was contractually obligated and took his money and ran. I don't blame him,
No.
Fantastic. Good on him, right?
Whatever. Yeah.
And anyway, so he's what?
I mean, whatever.
You don't agree?
I don't.
Agree?
I nothing this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. You're nothing. Yeah, I kind of nothing it too. I'm just making the comment that it's fine.
Anyways, let's get to the news. The news is.
Anyway, so we haven't heard anything for years. Like last I heard, he was working on. What was it? We had it on the show.
It was like a creative enterprise. I thought he was doing something.
I don't know. It was something. Yeah, it was something out of left field. Anyway, now it turns out he has just bought because he had the money from the MakerBot. I don't know if he's using his own money. Maybe he's got money from somewhere else. But he's just bought a company called Other Machine Co., who I've never heard of, but they make CNC machines, do they?
You've never heard of Other Machine Co., the Other Mill? We've talked about the Other Mill many times before.
Oh, the Other Mill. Okay, they make the Other Mill. Okay.
You didn't read that story, did you? You just saw Brie Pettis buys company, and then you said,
I didn't see the Other Mill. Okay, right. No, I haven't fully read it. Okay. The Other Mill, and it looks like the MakerBot. It's basically the CNC version of the MakerBot.
I disagree with that.
What?
Just because
look at it.
I think it's actually much more finished. The software's nicer.
Yeah, but no, just the physical look at it. Look at it.
You just mean like the shape.
It looks like the bloody MakerBot.
Yeah. Shape. Okay.
It looks like a desktop MakerBot.
Sure. Yeah, so they have two versions now. There's the Pro and the regular. Right. The Pro is like a 16,000 RPM spindle motor. Mm-hmm. It can do, they say 6x6. They have this at the Design Lab out in Pasadena, where I work, and they have a couple of these. And, when they're dialed in, they do pretty well. You can definitely,
right.
I don't know how much board milling you're doing.
I've never seen one.
Did you ever do board milling on other types of machines?
I've played around with them occasionally, but I've never actually done one in anger.
Got it. Yeah. The hard thing, it's always like dialing in the Z height and then making sure it's like nice and flat. As far as I can tell, I mean, like it's basically CNC machining. It's just that you're basically, so if people can visualize this, instead of having a full, there's like a copper layer on a PCB, right? Normally you etch off everything except the trace. In the case of circuit board milling, you're just outlining basically. So there's still tons of copper there, so you could short it pretty easily. So you're basically just isolating traces from the rest of the sea of copper, in so many words. Right. And then you can do drills and stuff like that, but the hard part is aligning drills and then doing your own vias and...
Right. No. For PCB, no, PCBs are commodity these days.
Yeah.
So the only reason you would use is to mill your own PCBs is time.
See,
Speed.
And even that,
you want something then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
So I had this discussion
but even then, you can get 24-hour turn boards.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
For what, $1,500 or something? Like, it's crazy price.
Yeah. Right? I don't know. I haven't quoted an overnight board in a while.
I did a video on this a couple of last month, and like even 24-hour turn was like, it was sub $200.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like crazy. Like, it depends on the size of the board and the complexity.
Right, and technology,
and
like 2-layer versus 4-layer. Yeah, and that's kind of like, so they were going through this at the space I work out of M-Hub here in Chicago. They didn't have any milling equipment. They ended up getting one. I actually recommended the other mill just because it was getting the lower cost one, just to see if people use it. You know what I mean? Like, because ultimately that's what you need. But they actually ended up getting a nicer one, that the Modelo MDX50, which looks pretty nice actually.
How much does that cost?
That's about $10,000, I think.
Okay, so that's serious.
Yeah, it is, and it's got like a 6-tool changer and yada yada yada, and it seems, and it's like heavy too. It's like 300 pounds, and it seems like a pretty nice. It's by Roland. It's a pretty nice tool.
Oh, Roland. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the software flow. I remember the Roland MDX40 I'd used in the past, and it did not seem that friendly. But
really, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard the Roland software is fairly decent.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's what's used for a lot of the Fab Labs use them. So like that standard set from MIT and stuff.
So can is the other mill just only a vertical drill? It can't go flip horizontal and like do holes in the side and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's traditional 3-axis milling. I mean, it's the Z height's only got like, I think 3 inches of Z height on the main one, and so it's not super rigid. It's made, well, it used to be a lot less rigid. They've done a little bit better on the newer ones. And so rigidity being like so that's a measure of if you think you're moving through a material, but then the whole thing starts to flex a little bit, you start to lose accuracy and stuff like that.
Right. So anyway, the article is going is saying something along the lines of is CNC going to become the next 3D printer?
No. The answer is
craze.
No.
Exactly.
However, what I will say is that I really do like. I think Other Plan it's called, and for a while it was Mac only, so that was a little problematic. But I think they've since moved over to Windows as well. But that's
Mac
actually
only.
What's that?
Wow, Mac only.
Yeah, I think it was just that's what they were developing for at first, and but it's since moved over, and that actually is a pretty decent software as far as I can tell. I'm kind of going off secondhand. My friend who's actually running these things pretty often, but I like that. So like this is something that's talked about a lot though. Like software in this realm is usually pretty terrible. I don't know if I mentioned that I started doing laser cutting at this space I work out of, and it's like literally terrible. I mean, it's really, really, really bad. It's a printer driver, like you're printing and you can't can't like move shapes around in the, at least on this one, it's like is it full spectrum or whatever the other one is. One of they're all terrible.
Yeah. It's all about the software. I mean, it's like the hardware is like it's a drill on a XYZ axis. I mean, that's
right, and like you're gonna pay like that's like you pay more for the better hardware. you're going to get a better result.
You'll pay the better bearings, the better stepper motors, the better feedback, and the more rigid frame, and the.
But most of the time, most of the things that you and I care about is the interface and like the the everyday
how easy.
kind of thing.
Well, they're claiming with the other Mill Pro here is that it's simple. You just throw in your Gerber file and double-sided boards with 6 thou, trace and space.
Well, we won't know until we try it. I have not used a Pro. I've used a regular one. I've also, like a genius, let me tell you my story here. The first time I used one of these things, so they're like, so that if people don't know what they look like, they're, they, like Dave said, they are kind of like a MakerBot, like a cupcake shape. And so they've got these Lexan plastic covers on the front with like magnets to hold them on, and then they're interlocked as well. And so, and they're on every side. And for some reason, my dumb ass thought that I pulled it off and I saw there was a bunch of dust on it, and I go, and I blow into the goddamn thing. It all comes right back out into my eyeballs. Like I had
well done.
copper, and luckily FR1, so that's something to know. These things use FR1 instead of FR4. So
they? What these can't mill FR?
FR4 is fiberglass, right? And that stuff just chews up every bit.
Well, FR4 is actually FR is the flammability rating. That's what it stands for. It's a particular type of woven fiberglass epoxy mix.
So whatever FR1 is, it's much safer to mill. I know that.
Right.
Because FR4 is not safe to mill. Like you'll get you're aerating fiberglass, which is already like little tiny shards of glass that then sometimes get in your eye somehow. I don't know.
No, sanding that's dangerous. Like sanding fiberglass is
right. Exactly.
Horror,
or cutting it with like a Dremel is terrible.
Right. Okay. I didn't know you had to use FR1.
Yeah, so it's usually FR1 or some kind of safer thing to use.
Oh, is that a phenolic base board?
Probably. Yeah, I think that's right.
Is FR1 a phenolic base? I can't remember offhand.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. It's definitely something that's safer to mill though. So anyways, luckily I was wearing contacts, and I just got in the contacts and I ripped those out real quick and washed my eyes out and felt really stupid. So, what did we learn?
FR1 is phenolic paper. Phenolic paper is a material often used to make printed circuit board substrates, blah, blah, blah. It's made of phenolic polymers, yes.
Right. And so this has been another discussion.
FR1 and FR2 for those playing along at home.
Got it. This is another discussion we had about...
and it's only rated at 130 degrees C, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's like I was going to make a point or something, yeah. Any other obscure details about stuff that people probably aren't going to use?
What? This is important shit to know. We're educational here on the air now. Thank you very much. I should talk about that.
What? Oh, yeah. Later.
Remind me to talk about that in the last 5 minutes or something.
Cool. The EEV Academy. Yes.
Yes.
What the hell was I going to say now? So the thing so I talked to another friend about this who used a lot of milling machines. There's also the one that's been out there for a long time. What's it called? LPKF, right? So they have a laser-based one.
They're kind of like the de facto industry standard.
And that was another one. And so like I had basically passed through a bunch of these the knowledge that I've learned from these friends, and pretty much everyone said it, is that you can do it, but like the learning curve, it's not like you walk up and start it, right? Because there's no milling tools that are like that right now, at least.
Right.
And
is
for
that
good
Bree's plan?
Maybe.
Is that his plan?
I'm guessing Bree's going to be pretty hands off. I mean, Danielle's got a pretty. You
think he'll be hands off?
She's doing a great job. So.
Right.
I'm guessing he'll raise more money and try and grow the company.
I'm guessing he won't be able to help himself.
Well, okay.
Either way, it's fine.
Yeah, and man, I keep losing my train of thought. Whatever.
Funny though.
Yeah. So milling sucks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Milling, right? Okay, right. So you think he's on a losing bet there?
No, I mean it's a good little company.
It's going to be a nice niche. If you can become the de facto PCB milling company, like there's a huge market there, right? Well, there's a perceived big market.
No, I actually
there's a lot of companies who like the idea. The idea is better than the concept.
That I do agree with.
Right.
And that's actually what I was going to say is that the feedback I got was be prepared to have someone kind of running the machine. And the truth is
Right.
that you don't need most places until you get to that point where you need someone running the machine, right? That just implies a certain amount of volume. And so one of them was
but
at a
you don't
makerspace
need- I
at a
mean-
school, right? And so there was
Yeah.
enough people that were like, they were regularly submitting boards, right? And at a certain point, so that might make sense from a money perspective. But like we've talked about with 3D printers and everything else in the past, like the real calculation is how many overnight turns would you need to have in order
to pay for it.
Pay for
right?
it.
We've talked about this before, haven't we? We've talked about if there's sub $200 for an overnight turn, right? And this thing costs $2,000, right? Or more, double that, right? Or whatever. Especially in Australian
the
dollars.
pros are 5,000, I think now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Then you're talking, 20 overnight,
Right, and the other thing is
runs,
that like
right?
you might have to
you'd have
remake
to be
it, you know?
desperate in 20 different occasions just to pay, and you get an inferior board, a vastly inferior board. These things aren't plated through. They've got no solder mask, no
Right.
seal screen, no bloody nothing, and they're phenolic base, for goodness sake.
Right, exactly. So so if you're doing
there's
anything like
no
RF
contest.
based, all your impedances are different, stuff like that. And that's another piece of feedback I got was, yeah, you might design a board because you need it. You need a prototype board right now, and that's fine. But the thing is, like, you have to go and redo the board. Like, it's not like you're going to be doing a finished board, right? You're not doing something with, 3
of course not,
spacing and, controlled impedance and 4 layers or 6 layers or whatever, right? So at a certain point, it just doesn't make sense. There are applications, and it might be worthwhile to learn this stuff, but...
And sometimes you have to lay out your board knowing that you're going to make it on this thing.
Exactly right, yep.
Because you don't want 50 vias under chips,
Exactly,
right? Where
yep.
you've got to solder the SMD chips and stuff.
Right, because they might short
that's
out,
a pain
right?
in the
I mean,
ass,
or they might short out.
No, it's just a pain in the ass because then you've got to put an individual wire through each one. You've got to solder on both sides, and then it's too high off the board that your surface mount chip doesn't go down. So then you've got to get your flush cutters. You've got to cut it flush, maybe get the knife out and shave it off. So that it doesn't impact the height profile it doesn't interfere with your surface mount chip that's got to sit flat on the board with these vias.
Yeah,
right?
some of them have
you've got
rivets, kind of. They have like rivets that go through.
You can get rivety things. I would think that's what the LPKF system does and stuff like that. But
So some people need it, some people don't.
Right.
Personally, I think if, and not only that, it's like guaranteed. Like, how guaranteed is it to work? Are you gonna have the parts on hand?
Yeah.
So yep. Actually, I did. What was that calculation I did? Oh, so there's another thing in my talk I did. It was like, because I always balk at $200 like dev boards, right? So like, sometimes
right.
you see these evaluation boards, and I don't have anyone that's giving them to me. Like I don't have any sales reps giving them to me anymore for free. And so you see something that's like $300, $200, $300, $500, right? And so what I did is I just laid out the costs of, or the time rather, of like, assuming you have the parts on hand, assuming you have a circuit board milling machine that can do this, assuming that the technology is sufficient, like you don't have BGAs or anything like super, super fine pitch, assuming all those things, and then you still do all the layout and the whatever, the assembly, the testing, the software. It's like, I just said it was like 30 hours, and I said even at $50, that's $1,500. You could buy 6 dev boards for that much and get them all shipped overnight.
Just go buy the dev board. Right. Exactly.
So again, it's that same thing that we talked about at the top, kind of. It's like, I still have this impetus to go and build it because I like the building process and I want to design it, and I think that I need to. But most of the time, that's not the right call. And so that's kind of what the other mill's kind of playing against too. And
I know this is like, speaking about just ordering the things and getting them shipped overnight or whatever. I ordered some parts from DigiKey the other day, right? Haven't done it for a little while, right? Ordered some parts from DigiKey, and now, of course, this is like, well, duh, right? But this is a big deal for people in other countries, like here in Australia, right? Normally, it's $30 US just to get the parts shipped here, right? You've got to choose FedEx, DHL, or whatever, right? You've got to choose one, and it was $30.
$30
US,
for shipping, or a shipping charge on top of it?
Just for shipping, yeah.
Okay.
Right? What?
Keep going. I'm about to get upset, but yeah.
What?
You'll hear why.
Why?
You'll hear why. But now it's free, right?
Anyway. Now it's free for anything over $50.
Yeah, that's why I'm upset, because nobody in the States gets that. Damn it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't friggin' get, like, because they're trying to get more business outside the States. I get that. Like, fine. But, like, come on. Like, I paid, like, I mean, it's not that big a deal. I pay USPS.
How much
it's like
do you pay?
$5 for 8 ounces or less, whatever, right?
Oh, right.
You know, it's like, it's not a big deal.
Ours was always a fixed charge of $30 US, which is like $45 Australian.
Yeah, but that's
right?
like, I mean, that's any shipping with, like, UPS around here would be that much too.
No, of course. No, I'd never really, complained. It was just the price of having to do business with DigiKey and Mouser, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, I can order $50 worth of parts, and that used to cost me $80, right? 50 plus the 30 shipping. Now it only costs me the $50, and the shipping's free.
Right. Well,
it's great. Unbelievable.
That is a nice perk.
Yeah. Sorry that you're angry, but you've got companies that ship for free in the US, don't you?
I mean, you're talking about
like
included.
Element 14 and others, don't they ship for free?
I'm not buying enough that they're shipping me anything free, quote unquote free.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Right. Because
I should say that I don't make decisions based on this either, right? It's not like, because I was tweeting about this the other day,
but it's
about like, I see all these promotions about like, oh, it's Memorial Day coming up, we'll give you a coupon for shipping. It's like, look, I'm not going to buy or not buy parts.
Right,
it's just that like why does Dave get it for free? It's just more about like, it's about like, I'm a little kid, like, I want the toy he has.
Come on, but we've had it bad for a long, long time.
It's because you live in the middle of the ocean, man.
I know. Right? So, geez,
like the Southern Ocean. Like, there's nothing around you.
I know.
It took me forever to get there.
It took you 14 hours just to get across the ditch,
Yeah.
Yep.
So, no, I'm glad for you, buddy. That's great.
Yep. Anyway,
you got to win.
Great.
You got to win.
Yep. Yeah, we finally got a win here in Australia.
Beautiful people, beautiful weather, healthy food. But, finally you got to win on the components. Yeah, good. Glad for you. I'm glad for you.
Boy. Okay, we do have like 7 minutes left. I was going to tell you about the educational thing.
Yes.
I don't know if I had told you this, but I looked into actually becoming an educational organisation.
Is that like a tax thing?
A tax thing, yes.
Interesting.
Like, because educational organisations are exempt from, income tax exempt here in Australia.
Interesting.
And I assume in other countries is probably, quite similar. But ultimately, so I had extensive discussion with my accountant about it, and yes, it's possible. I could actually, because I basically that's what I do. I produce educational material, right?
Yeah, someone might have to learn something at some point,
to the public.
Yeah,
right.
At some point, it's not free.
So yeah,
whatever, man. My attention is not free.
It's free. What?
Yeah, sorry.
I don't give it.
If you're not paying anything, you're the product. I'm the product, man.
Screw you. If you don't like my free shit, you can shove it up.
I'm your boss, man. I'll tell you what to make.
Right.
Dance, monkey. Dance.
Dance.
Well, that's
Give
cool.
me that tutorial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I looked at, it's like, it sounds good in theory, and then you get down to the practicalities of it, and there ultimately becomes really no advantage to it.
Are you like a nonprofit or something? Or, I mean, how does it work?
It would be, well, that's one of the thorny aspects of it is, what do you do with the commercial making a profit side of the thing? And,
right.
But,
yeah, it's like split it into two companies kind of, or?
Yeah, it might have had to be split into two companies, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that if you're an educational institution and you're making a profit, which of course I would want to do,
hopefully.
Because like I've got kids to feed.
Right. You can't draw like a monster salary, although that is a big part of nonprofits.
I can draw it like, but even if, right, let's say I form this educational institution and everything's tax, all the profits are tax free, right? Everything's hunky dory, and then I draw out all the profits as a wage, right?
Sure.
Which I could probably do,
sure.
Right? Then I'm still paying personal income tax on that, so you can't avoid it.
Oh no, I don't.
There's no magic bullet.
No, I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just saying from a non-profit,
Yeah, so
perspective.
technically it's possible, yeah. Like as a content producer of free educational material, I can
Well, cool,
potentially
man.
do that. Yeah, but no, it just there wasn't
Would
any.
that mean you'd have to
way
list your
make it
title
work.
as educator though? You'd have to be like Dave
I don't
Jones,
know.
David L. Jones, educator.
Cater.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so that was meh. It was no real benefit, so we dropped it.
Yeah, that's business stuff, huh?
Yeah, business stuff. It's all I'm doing these days.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yep. Can't avoid it.
Not doing any assemblies, nothing like that.
Assemblies?
I mean, like new designs. You said at one point David was doing new designs, or you're doing new designs.
Oh no, we're just working, trying to get the multimeter done, the custom multimeter, because it's going to come to a head very shortly. So.
Oh, like having software for it.
Yeah, having software and ready to go for the crowdfunding campaign and stuff like that. Because
I see.
it's currently, there are 10 units currently at the assessment. What's the compliance house.
Oh,
that are
right,
doing all the
for,
compliance
like,
testing.
FCC
That
and
takes
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that takes like 12 weeks or something.
I didn't
so
realize
they've
you were
been
doing
there for a while.
crowdfunding.
Oh yeah. I'm going to do a crowdfunding campaign for it. Yep.
Well, that is some more news. Avnet
No,
and
no, I've been saying that
Kickstarter.
for ages. Oh, Kickstarter, yeah. Kickstarter have
Sorry.
a new bloody thing.
It's not all about you, Dave,
yeah,
sorry.
I know. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, so Avnet
this-
and Kickstarter and Dragon, another former guest, Scott Miller of
Another
Dragon.
former dress. We're just the center of the hardware universe.
Well,
here at the Air Power.
With exceptional scheduling,
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder who
From the
does all
guy,
that.
the guy who doesn't actually schedule shows anymore. But they're coming.
Right,
They're on
yeah.
their way. Believe me.
Yeah, they're part of. I don't like. I was talking with David about this before. If you've ever done a Kickstarter, any crowdfund, Indiegogo, whatever, you will get in. Well, no, let's say what it is first. They've basically the title is Kickstarter is launching a program to help prevent hardware startups from failing.
Right.
Yay! Can we have that? Insert that, kiddie applause sound.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Right. And of course, so they've teamed up with Avnet, who they've teamed up with before, right? Aren't Avnet? Is that Avnet approved shit, or is that?
No, that's the thing.
That's it.
This is the
Indiegogo,
this is the
isn't it?
response to that. So Arrow
Right,
had paired
Arrow.
with Indiegogo.
That's right.
And this
Yep,
is
that's
Avnet.
it.
Whatever Arrow does,
Avnet
Avnet
teaming.
does, and vice versa.
Right, yeah.
And so-
right, so Avnet have teamed up with Kickstarter and Dragon Innovation, who help people develop.
Well, and
stuff
Dragon's
like
done
that.
this before too. Dragon used to have their
They
own. They used to
right.
have their own Kickstarter platform. So people
Yes, right.
remember we had a guest on, Eric, who teamed up with James to do that Mushi meter. So James
Right.
and Eric did the Mushi meter, and that was funded on the Dragon crowdfunding platform, which is no more.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Why did they stop it? Have we heard?
I think it was just they're not getting enough projects, right? I mean, right.
Okay.
So
not
I think
enough
that's just fell off.
traction. Right. Okay, so they've basically kickstarted that again.
Yeah.
Get it?
I got it. Yeah,
Kickstarter.
no, that's good.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was really good, Dave.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm quite proud of that one.
But yeah, now they're teamed up
Right,
with
and-
Kickstarter, who also put
Yeah.
out that stuff recently. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but Kickstarter recently released a document of what they kind of put out a call for proposals almost on the type of campaigns they wanted. So
Oh, I did that. Okay.
yeah, so
Right.
and so I know Clarissa and Zach, and they're a good team. I mean, I like the Kickstarter folks. We like Scott, obviously. Avnet's doing good stuff too. I mean,
Yeah. No,
all this
it's
stuff's
all,
good.
No, it's all good, but then comes the practicalities of it. It's like, as I was saying, if you've ever done a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
once your project goes live and it's a hardware project, you will be inundated with spam email
Yeah.
from all these Chinese companies who will say, we'll do it for you. We'll give us 10% of your Kickstarter money and we'll
Right.
handle everything. It's basically what they're doing, except they've got their own official approved version of it. That's basically what it is.
no.
No, what?
So they're doing. I mean, that's the kind of the thing. They're basically doing I mean, yeah, I guess maybe on a little bit of a range, but they're really just doing DFM activities, right? So they're talking about sourcing.
But Dragon are going to take a cut, right? And I very greatly doubt Kickstarter are paying Dragon to do this for free.
I
for
have to assume that
Kickstarter projects.
this is a lost leader, and
Really? You think it's going to be free? To any hardware Kickstarter, or maybe to approved hardware
ones, exactly. And that's the same thing for the Arrow thing. Like Arrow's not right. So Arrow basically chooses them.
Right. So you maybe submit your project and then drag and look through and go, that one's not going to work. We're not touching that with a 10-foot
right,
barge
exactly,
pole,
exactly.
Right.
Although I was a little dismayed that Arrow, I think, gave their approval to your favorite project.
They've given their approval to bloody everything. Yeah. They don't.
But they also but Arrow will also give funding. So that was the other thing. I don't know if I lost this article somehow, but the Arrow gives $75,000 to certain projects too. I mean, that's the thing. Really? Like everybody's doing this because that's like every company wants like the main line to startups that might be the next big thing.
Right.
But the truth is, none of them are. At least not at the beginning, because
they very, very few of them are. Like 0.01%.
Right. And the truth is that the ones that were really big, they're going to see them coming anyways, just because like the sourcing needs, right?
No,
So I don't know.
No, so most of them are obvious, that they're going to be big, right? In some way. Well, it's easy to spot the crap ones.
I will agree with that. Yeah, it's easy to spot the crap ones. It's
truly easy to spot the ones that are going to fall on their ass. It's
right. And so from Kickstarter's perspective, that's good. They have some people looking into it, but like even just like whoever the program is, that's great, right? If they've and we talked to Josh too from Crowd Supply, right? So that's another person we've talked to. And so Crowd Supply does this stuff in-house. They actually take a look, and they're very discerning with projects.
Oh, yeah,
Kickstarter, Avnet, Dragon are going to take a look at it. They're going to at least give guidance and then, give it their blessing if it's good enough, right? So, like, that's great. Like, all these things are actually really nice for proof points. So, and that's the best you can do. There are no guarantees, right?
No.
So...
But yeah, I don't know. So I guess this is good, but it's just like the Indiegogo thing with the Arrow thing. I'm so like that just turned into a complete schmozzle, right? It was just an absolute joke because it's Arrow approved, and therefore it's going to it's guaranteed this project's going to work and it's going to be they're going to meet their target online, they're going to deliver and it's going to work. It's like bullshit. All they do is look over their bill of materials and go, yep. We can get those parts for you, right? Well,
exactly.
What do you freaking do?
Well, no, but that has nothing to do with like, I mean, and maybe they'll take a look at like plastics,
has to do with
stuff like
it has nothing to do with the viability of the idea,
sure, of course.
The concept. It has nothing to do with the financials of the company and whether or not they've raised cash flow and everything else, right? Yeah. No, but to Joe Public. Right? That looks like, it's Arrow approved. They must be, it's approved by this company. They must know what they're doing.
I think there is value in that, though. I mean, I don't know. I think there is some value in it. It's just that some of it's going to be marketing value. So
no, I think there's it's all wank value. Okay. It's 99% wank value.
Wank value. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Well. We'll see, I guess.
Yep. So I hope this doesn't turn into the same, it's Avnet approved because they just checked that they can source all the parts and that's, and then they go put the big approved logo on their campaign while it's still raising money and go, hey, look, we're approved and that means that we're going to be a winner. Right? Bullshit.
You really turned on that, I gotta say. You convinced yourself that you hate it now.
Well, no, I hope it doesn't.
Wait, he's
turn
going back,
into
folks.
that.
He's going back.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's I hope it doesn't turn into the Indiegogo, right? Because Indiegogo is a joke. Arrow is a joke, and I'm pretty sure everyone agrees with that. Right.
I think Arrow is a fine company, man. I don't know. I think
they are right, but the concept of how it's implemented is bullshit.
It's like we need like a pendulum. Is there like a sound for a pendulum? Like,
no, come on. You know what I'm getting at. You have to agree. You've agreed with this before.
I don't even know what I'm agreeing with at this point, Dave.
That the Arrow approval on Indiegogo campaigns is just smoke and mirrors.
At this point, my agree with is, yes, these are definitely companies. They're definitely talking about crowdfunding. And Dave is definitely upset or not upset.
You never want to hang your balls out there, do you?
There's enough ball hanging by you, buddy. I'm just gonna go ahead and say something right now. That's how you always start thinking. I'm gonna go and make a prediction right now.
Anyway, I hope it doesn't turn into just that. Like it's just a rubber stamp by bloody Avnet, and I hope they do pick
there
good
we go.
projects.
And on a positive note, there we go.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Dave, you know what?
Done.
I still enjoy
I'm
hanging
done.
out with you, buddy. I still enjoy it. All those weeks in Australia, all these shows later. Still,
can I say
it's
I
still
told you so? The very first time the Avnet approval goes onto a project that is not that is demonstrably going to fail.
See, I don't think that's healthy, actually. Come on, man. Like,
what?
That's like when people are like, oh, I can't believe they funded renewable energy and one company failed and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, look, investing is, you got to invest in a lot of things and not, of course, everything's
No, right, come on. But anyone within engineering now knows solar roadways isn't going to work, knows batterizing. Right, these are all freaking approved. These are all approved projects.
Maybe what they really need, Dave, I hate to say it, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Maybe they don't need a Kickstarter /Avnet or a Indiegogo / Arrow approved. They need an EEV blog disapproved.
Right.
I don't know if they'll put it on their own page, but maybe
not bullshit stamp, a not bullshit EEV blog stamp that you can put on your project.
That's not bad. That's a little bit.
We talked about
that's
this
a little
like
bit more
5
positive.
years ago.
That's a little bit more positive.
I'm sure we talked about this 5 years ago.
Man. Yeah, we did.
Right?
And if you ever did this, you would be miserable. Think about how much crap you'd have to sift through.
I think you were thinking about it at the time. I think we were both thinking about it.
You were talking
back. About
doing a YouTube channel, remember? You said, I want to do a YouTube channel about...
a YouTube channel with, looking at crowdfunding campaigns,
Ugh. Boring.
Yep. And then it is boring, and that's why I didn't do it. And then the natural spin-off from that was, but then it becomes like, you're paid to vet it, and you become a paid service, and they, you wouldn't do it for free, obviously.
Because you'd have so many. I mean, it's surprising.
I know, yeah, you'd have hundreds of them.
How many campaigns are still doing this kind of thing?
I know.
So...
Yeah, hundreds. Like, you wouldn't, it could be your full-time job.
Yeah.
Right? And you still wouldn't get around to vetting all of them.
Right.
Right? And, it just wasn't a viable business model, I still think something like that would be really good, where somebody with a clue, right, actually vets these projects and goes, okay, well, it's not bullshit, right?
I think that's kind of the point of this, Dave. I think you've talked yourself into, like...
Well, look, all I'm doing is this has not worked before, right? They tried it on Indiegogo with Arrow, and it was a schmozzle, right? Demonstrably, right?
On at least one project, you're saying?
No, we have multiple examples.
I don't know the other examples, but okay.
Okay.
Maybe you should get David to create a page that keeps score. Maybe that would be a good public service.
We do need to keep score, right? But... yeah, no, it's right. So that's just my fear because we have evidence, right? I'm not just shooting off the, shooting from the hip here, right? I'm basing this on
that's
evidence.
That's the only way you shoot.
Bullshit.
No,
I'm
not
basing this
bullshit.
on evidence.
No,
We've seen this happen
You
before.
literally say all the time, I'm off the cuff. I shoot from the hip. You literally say that all the time.
Yes, of course, but in this case, I'm speaking from experience.
Right. Don't listen to me 3 months ago. Listen to me now.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man. It's fun. It's fun, folks. This is good. This is good. All right.
Anyway.
Let's end on a positive note. Our buddy Robert Faranek, who's been on the show before, another one. Yeah. I feel like we should have a counter here for how many ones. Right? Robert, who's been on the show before.
That's got to be like 7 or 8 now.
We're getting up there. Yeah. He just released 100 hardware design tips. And some are better than others, but overall
he didn't release 100 at once.
No, he did them over the course of he did like five a week pretty much. So.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's his 100th.
Yeah,
and are they all on PCB layout?
Some of them are a little bit more unprocessed. Like he did one about doing a release document.
Okay,
so
sure,
good stuff, stack up stuff like that. That's so right. Everything throughout PCBs, good stuff.
Yep. Yay, content producers.
Exactly.
Hats off to him.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, and, yep. good stuff. I like his channel, so people should subscribe to that.
Yeah, it's great. He's got so much information on there. It's just, I'm surprised PCB, like, how many people really want to take the effort to learn PCB design properly? It's not going to be in the hundreds of thousands.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's
right.
It's some people are going to build a board, right?
Yeah.
Some people are going to put it on a PCB.
Bumble their way through it,
Right. Right.
But for those who really want to learn, it's, this information's the duck's guts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, yep.
Tell that David guy, man, he's making noise over there. I don't know about this office mate of yours, Dave. I can hear him.
Yeah, you can hear him in the background. He just ran out and came back in.
He's making noise,
Yep.
Tell him to sit quietly in the corner, like a good assistant. He's a junior engineer. Where's the hazing?
Right. I did. I'd like to say I did this on purpose, but I didn't, because it would have been a hilarious joke, like a hazing joke. Yeah. When he started working on the app for the multimeter, he's going to grin in a minute. I gave him one of the meters, right, from my desk here.
Okay.
And and he's working, and he's working for like a day or something, or it might have been 2 days or something. And he comes back and he finally says, I can't talk to this bloody multimeter through Bluetooth. I think there's something wrong. And sure enough, it's one of the ones that didn't even have a Bluetooth module installed. Yeah. And I wish I'd thought of that, because that would have been freaking hilarious.
Gotcha, Rook.
But anyway, Anyway, it turned out to be funny.
Oh, man, that's good.
Yep. That explains all the problems.
Always,
There's no
always do
Bluetooth
your sanity
module
check, folks. Yep.
It's great.
It happens to the best of us.
Yep. Send the old apprentice down to the part shop for a long wait.
That's right.
Need a long wait,
Or a purple screw.
Yeah. The old left-handed screwdriver.
Oh, left-handed
We
screwdriver.
need one of
That's
those.
the one. Yep.
Anyway, I thought that was funny.
Yep. That's good.
So, yep.
Well, we've got a buttload more links. We probably didn't cover 50 plus links this time, so we always have more links on our subreddit. We always appreciate Patreon supporters who are consistently supporting us for some reason, and we appreciate that.
Should I like push my stuff to Reddit? Because technically there's an EEV blog or Reddit thread somewhere, like page somewhere. I think it's like dormant. I think the odd person chimes in. But like should I like auto push? Like, how big is this Reddit thing?
It's
should
the
I
number
like
one. It's the number 4 site on the internet. I actually learned this recently.
Number 4 site on the internet.
Yeah.
So what? I should be pushing my videos automatically to Reddit?
I don't. Well, maybe. I think honestly, I don't think so. Just because you have so much forum discussion,
Right. But I auto push to Facebook I don't use Facebook, but I have a page with 15,000 likes or whatever, and I auto push every time I publish a new video. It automatically gets posted on the Facebook
you will get
page,
flagged for spam if you do that on Reddit, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every link is hand selected by Chris, which means not just me, but
but it's
85%.
but it's about my video. Like, it's a specific Reddit section. Like, it's not like I'm publishing it to the electronics thread or whatever. Are they called threads? What are they? No, what are they called?
Subreddits?
Pages? What are they? Subreddits. That's it. Just newfangled Reddit thing.
I mean, Dave, you can do whatever you want, man. I don't care.
Anyway, but it's a specific EEV blog or Reddit.
/r/EEV blog. That is correct. I just looked it up.
Right.
285 readers.
So. Yeah, so why would I be flagged for pushing material to a specific subreddit for my specific videos?
I guess if you're the moderator, you probably would. Yeah, you probably whitelist yourself. That's true. That's a good point.
Right. I don't know if I can't remember if I set it up or somebody else did.
You did. Yep. You did.
Did I?
Yeah. AltZone.
Oh yeah. Hello World by AltZone. There it is. Go figure. 4 years ago. There you go.
Yeah. And remember, that's where the Amp Hour started too. Was on Reddit. So.
Right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it did. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, right.
So.
There you go.
Post number 14. So is this place dead?
Maybe I'll look into that.
Yes, it is. All right, Dave. We'll talk next week. Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
Talk to you then.
Catch you next time.